Morning, my name is Deborah Buffton, and I have the distinct pleasure of serving as the American School of Dubai's kindergarten and through 12th grade service learning coordinator. And with me today are two of our high school students, Miss Clara Harder and Miss Chloe Agnello, and they're going to be sharing some of their experiences with you as how they have grown and developed as global citizens at the American School of Dubai. I want to start with giving you just a little overview. As many of your schools, I'm sure, at our school, we're very focused on our mission, and I feel a little strange even talking about our mission in the presence of our school director. But he tells a joke, which is actually not a joke, but which is very true, that it's very hard for him to speak in front of a room full of people without speaking about our mission statement. And that dedication to the mission carries through, and you can see it visible in our school across the board through all of from our very youngest students up into our very oldest students and to the faculty. So I need to start with our mission today, which is to challenge and inspire each student to achieve their dreams and to become passionate learners, prepared to adapt and contribute in a rapidly changing world. Service learning at the American School of Dubai fits into this mission. In fact, you might say it intersects with the verbs of, and if I can figure out the pointing, it intersects with all of the verbs of our mission. Service learning contributes to the world. In a rapidly changing world, we challenge our students to seek their ways of which they might make contribution, and that can vary amongst the age levels based on interest and passion. Passion is really what it's all about. We try to put in front of our students opportunities to develop their interests and to display their passions and to share their passions with our community. We inspire and challenge them by putting forth opportunities that they can, and by offering them opportunities to put forth their own ideas and their own passions, which Claire and Chloe will talk about in a little bit. So service learning is two words together. One, service. Who can tell me what service is? Doing something for someone else. And I would add to that, without, does anyone know what I'm going to say when I say the word without after that? Without expectation of return. And learning, I'm sure you all know, so with service learning, we put those characteristics of service together with learning. And there's some distinct things about service learning that coincide with what we think leads to global citizenship as well. Service learning at our school is very connected to our curriculum. So we provide within our school day, within the curriculum that we're teaching our students already, we provide these opportunities within the context of their academic curriculum. So they're having opportunities to perform service connected to what they're already learning. That really allows students to participate with their academic curriculum in a more experiential way, which deepens and strengthens the learning that they take away from that experience. We build in a lot of student choice. Because of our mission statement, we're inspiring, we're challenging, we're expecting students to discover their passions. That's not something which can be a cookie cutter approach across the way. We all have different interests, we all have different passions, and so we build into our opportunities the opportunity for students to really uncover and explore what their own interests and passions are. We build in the opportunity for students to actually take action. So it's not just the thinking and the planning. Those are important parts of service learning, but we also need them to take that next step. We need them to step into that arena of global citizenship and take action on their particular interest or passion and the solutions that they see for those. And in doing all of these things, they are contributing. They're beginning to prepare to contribute in this rapidly changing world that we all live in. Now this is, as I said before, I'm through kindergarten, so our very youngest students are aged 4 up to our 12th grade students who are age 18. This looks different depending on what age level. At the very young students, we provide very guided opportunities for them. So we narrow the field for them a little bit. Our kindergarten students, as one example, our 4-year-olds this year took on composting for our school garden. We have a beautiful, rich school garden that produces produce for our cafeteria at our school. And our kindergarten students, in learning about soil, in learning about their responsibility to be a helper in our community, we learned with them about how do we make soil? How do we, and what is soil? We learned as kindergarten students that soil is a living organism, that we can create soil with our food waste. We learned about our responsibility to reduce food waste. And our kindergarten students then went out. Their contribution was to go home and tell their parents, teach their parents. They went to the kindergarten, the next grade kindergarten, what we call K2, which is our 5-year-old students. They went to those classes and encouraged them to compost along with them. And they met the gardeners, the high school gardeners, for whom the soil was being created. So that's one way of how we provide a very guided opportunity at our very youngest levels. I want to turn it over now to Clara and Chloe, who will talk to you a little bit about their experience and how it's a little bit different at the secondary level.
Hi, so Chloe and I are from an organization called the Global Issues Network, which is a network of over 100 international schools around the world, a group of passionate students who work together to create sustainable solutions for our shared global issues. And we really wanted to be able to make a change that we could see, as opposed to just giving money to charity. So we're going to talk you through how we developed our new approach to fundraising and the results we've seen in doing this.
So before we go on to how we as individuals and as a group, as members of GIN, have contributed our own way to service learning, I just want to go step by step with you through the first approach, the most typical approach when you want to aid a problem. Obviously, you find a problem or an issue that you feel that you want to help. The problem here now is that a lot of organizations, and especially schools, go about raising funds for their issue by doing normal food sales or auctions. And what we really strive as a group is to get away from that typical idea of raising money through food. This reason is because when somebody buys a cupcake, they don't really know why that issue is important, where your money is going, and why people should care in the first place. So we will talk to you later about our steps that we took to raise funds differently. Again, you need to really make sure that you, as a group or as a school or a group of individuals who want to help, needs to make sure that you know where your money is going, really specify down, making sure that it's not a large organization where you know that your money can get lost through.
Yep, so this was the original model that we thought would be a great way for us to raise money. But at the end, like Chloe was telling us, it was really hard to see the results. So we realized that if we really wanted to make a change in the world, we would have to think outside of the box. So we developed, with the help of Ms. Bufton, our service learning coordinator, a new model called issue-based fundraising so that we could see the tangible impact of our service learning at ASD. So the first step, like anything, is to identify the issue. At the Global Issues Network, we spent a lot of time focusing on helping Syrian refugees and the crisis in Syria. Now, instead of just sending off our money to a UN organization and being done, we didn't think that this was the best way to tackle the issue. With something so big as the Syrian crisis, we had to break it down into a specific manageable problem. So we decided to tackle education for Syrian refugees because we see education as the most sustainable solution for rehabilitating children's lives in the long run. Now, before we just asked for people's money to be sent for the education of refugees, we spread a platform of issue awareness. We wanted everyone in our community to understand what was going on in Syria, why these children needed our help, and why education is such an important tool for helping them regain control over their lives. And then once we had established this common understanding, we moved on to our fundraisers. And we make sure that all of our fundraisers are connected directly to the issue at hand, so related to children or education. And we're going to give you a few examples of how we did this in a little bit. But this step is key so that instead of just buying a cupcake, people will receive a product that relates to learning about the issue, so that they will educate themselves, and then they can go on and share that at the end of the day with more people, so that the impact of our events grow larger and larger. And then finally, we donate all of our money to small organizations where the impact can directly be traced. So again, instead of using a large UN organization, we work with a small NGO called Sombala, which is providing education for Syrian refugees in the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon. It's a fantastic program. They send children to public schools, they give them homework help, language supports, arts programs to help them work through their trauma, and we work one-on-one with the director of the organization. She's come into the schools, spoken to our children, and we can tell her exactly where our money wants to go, and she can tell us exactly the names of the children we are helping. So this has been really amazing. And now we're going to show you some of the ways that we've taken this model of issue-based fundraising and put it into action at our school.
So as Clara recently just stated, we started with awareness, and this was our first big awareness project that we did in our school community, and that was a walking poster day. Essentially, we were granted the full day to get our group of GYN members to dress up in a way of stimulating the identity of people who have lost everything. In that sense, we are raising awareness about refugees who don't have a home, who left without anything, none of their luggage, none of their clothes, none of their possessions. So that was kind of why we dressed down, to simulate that. We also had posters walking around in school with big quotes on information and facts that people don't really know about, and they learned about it. So what was really impactful with this awareness project was that it was only a few of us in school, and as they saw us walking down the hallways, they could see exactly what the problem is, and they could understand why there's an issue and why we need to help. So yeah, we also on that day had an assembly and brought the whole school together to explain further why we are there, what we are doing, and it was very, very effective. And through this, actually, our GYN club has been really good at establishing who we are.
Yeah, and like Chloe was saying, it's really easy when problems are so far away to forget about them and pretend that they're not real. But when you have people, in the hallways dressed up like this, it really brings a problem to life, and it gives the members, ourselves, who had to put on these outfits and these quotes, just a small bit of understanding of what these people actually go through. And that bond of empathy was really helpful to making the rest of our projects a big success. One of our programs that we've rolled out this year was a sponsorship program, because we wanted the people in our community to work together and actually see where their money's going. So we had different class groups pledged to give 550 dirhams as a team, which is how much it takes to enroll a child in public school in Lebanon for a year and cover transportation and school supplies. So through doing this, we were actually able to enroll 50 refugees in school this year who, without our help, would not have otherwise attended school. And we could receive information from the charity about what are the names of their students, how are they doing in school, what are their passions in life. And by sharing this with the community, they became so much more engaged about the issue and really cared about these students that we were supporting.
So just recently, as the holidays came up in our school, we had bazaars and lots of different events, and we had constructed cards and calendars. Now, these cards and calendars aren't just normal cards and calendars. They are actually made up of artwork by the Syrian refugee children that are in school right now in Lebanon. This artwork goes beyond just a pretty picture. This artwork actually represents their psychological progression. A lot of kids suffer a lot of trauma after what they've been through, and as according to their curriculum in school at the moment, they use their art as a way of identifying who they are as individuals and identifying their connection with the nation that they are in, which is Lebanon at the moment, understanding the issue and really expressing themselves and come to terms with their situation at hand. So this artwork represents a lot of different types of emotions, but it was really effective, because when somebody bought a card or a calendar, you can then pass the card on to somebody else, and that person learns why this issue is important too, and learns about people who are actually aiding the development of children around the world. So our biggest event was the Songs for Syria concert. And this, I think we can both say we're most proud of. It was student-run, and it was a large event, of course with help of many others, in our school community. We had set up a stage outside, we invited the whole school community, gave out awareness and publicized really, really well. And the purpose of this concert was to bring together the ASD community in order for them to be a part of a organization consisting around the theme of hope, love, and peace. And so we had performers from K-12 to the K-1 to the 12th grade perform songs, poems, anything that they wanted to express ourselves with. And at that night, we had raised the most amount of donations that we'd had in the whole year, which was very successful. So it was a day where we brought together empathy for the issue at hand, but it really raised awareness on who we are and brought it together in a really beautiful way.
This event was actually inspired by a choir that we work with through our charity in Lebanon for the actual refugees around the idea of music as a humanitarian message. We actually have a short video here of the choir program, which I'll play.
يتصالح مع حاله، إنسان الموسيقى بتتأثر بالغضب بيصيرها سريعة عند الطفل، بس الأحلى شيء إنه إحنا عم نربط الموسيقى بالتعليم، عم نلاحظ قديش هي الطفل إذا اقتنع التعليم الإنسان عم تصير علاقة صحية، عم يحب يرجع يتعلم، عم يحب يرجع يشوف يصير عنده فضول، يعني الموسيقى اليوم هي السحر، وأهم من هيك الموسيقى هي رسالة إنسانية. يعني هدول الأولاد اللي عايشين بهالظروف المأساوية كانوا سنين لما عم يتعلموا يغنوا، لما عم يتعلموا أصول الغناء، لما عم يغنوا.
صدقوني الأولاد لأنه هالقد عم يتغيروا بين أسبوع والتاني، بين تمرين والتاني، هالقد شكلهم عم يتغير، هالقد ضحكتهم عم تتغير، طريقة حكيهم، التزامهم ومشاركتهم. يعني في ناس أول ما بلشنا ما كانوا يحكوا، ما كانوا يغنوا، ما كانوا يبتسموا، حتى إذا نحن وجبنا الحديث ما كانوا يحكوا.
صار عندهم يعني التزام، يحبوا يسمعوا الدرس الأخير، بحسوا عندهم
That's what it is.
كمان إذا قالوا لي إن القرآن رح يخلص حزة كتير لأنه أنا ألهموني بالقرآن والأغاني وبحب أروح عيوط بغني على المسرح لأنه أنا الوحيد بيقول إن القرآن رح يخلص.
So yeah, it was fantastic to be able to present this.
So what did you say it was Salvador?
Yeah, that's the name of the organization. We're almost at the end, so we'll have questions in a little bit if you guys want to learn more about the organization, and we can put you in contact. The founder actually lives here in Dubai, and she's an amazing woman. She's in that video. And yes, it's great to have that relationship so we can connect exactly what we're doing in Dubai to what's going on there through that idea of music as a humanitarian message. And our work actually culminated in a visit to the Sambala Learning Center. I myself went there over break. And these are some of the children that I met, and we brought things like textbooks and Arabic books, English books, science kit, toys, and it was just amazing to go there, and I could see exactly where all of our hard work as a team had been going, and the direct result that we were getting. I could see that all of the money was making it to where it was needed, and that it was doing really incredible, inspiring work. We were able to bring a poster from our club, which is now a permanent part of that center, and we've established that link, which is something we would like to continue building off of for years. And this was all possible thanks to our process of issue-based fundraising. And while in the beginning it was difficult to come up with these creative events, which were a lot more work than just, say, hosting a bake sale, in the end we were really proud of the results, and we think that it's a great model that a lot of schools could use to adapt to their service learning so that they can make the largest impact possible. we will now have any questions for all three of us.
First of all, thank you very much. That was very, very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did our mission. We've inspired. Any questions?
It's in the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, near Bar Elias. It's called Sombola, which is Sonbola. You can find them on Facebook, sombola.edu, and I can also put anyone in contact with the organization if they would like to hang back at the end.
Actually, what you did, you just done a number of things, but I think the most important thing is love for humanity. To love, to support, and to just bring the people with us. So I think the things like the leadership, the group work, the organization, all these things are there. But the most important thing is love for humanity. And this is what we are just learning in today's session.
I really think the ASC is doing a commendable job because whatever these young people are learning, they're going to carry through with them in their lives. So, and all the lives that they touch.
Yeah. We hope so.
That's why the Songs for Syria concert that we hosted in our school was really, really effective, because it brought that need and that want to help, and it kind of made people cry. Like, we're here getting together to celebrate something that we are trying to accomplish for the better good of other people. So yeah, absolutely, that love of humility.
Definitely say that emotional connection is what has allowed us to raise so much money. Before at earlier events, people would give 10, 15 dirhams, but when you can actually show people how powerful their money is, they'll start pulling out huge amounts of money and huge generosity, and it takes them away, it teaches them compassion, and it keeps spreading around that human empathy, which is...
I think that's what part of our goal with service learning is to connect the head with the heart, right? So I really appreciate what you said about the love and bringing the humanity together. What the group has done here has really been to increase the awareness, increase the empathy for lots of different kinds of people around the world, and bringing that knowledge into our hearts as a community. We're supposed to end at 10:45. We'll certainly stick around for a few minutes if you want to talk to any of us about...
Or learn more about the organization that we support.
But really, thank you so much for coming today, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.